Hello, my name's Liz Brundige. I'm a clinical professor of law at Cornell Law School.
Hi, I'm Greta Garrison. I'm a high school senior at Trumansburg High School in Trumansburg, New York. And last year I took a course with Professor Brundige, International Human Rights in Theory and Practice through Cornell's Precollege summer program.
So it's great to see you again, Greta.
You too.
So what made you decide to take my course? Did you have a prior interest in human rights?
Actually, prior to taking your course, I hadn't known that much about what that kind of thing looked like. But I heard about the Cornell Pre-College program through my high school counselor, um, who informed me that I was eligible for like a scholarship uh, based on being like a local student. And I think this is something that's also available for other local students who are academically and financially eligible. Definitely look into that. And so after I received the scholarship, I was able to look through the course registry and pick any of the courses to take. And I knew that I wanted to take something that was like I liked my history classes in high school, but I kind of wanted to see something that was more like current event based, but definitely something in the humanities. And so I saw your course and I just kind of picked it. But I actually ended up really enjoying it, and I was surprised a little bit because I didn't realize kind of what the content would be, but it was totally aligned with my interest, and yeah.
Oh, great. So what did you end up enjoying the most about the course?
I really liked both the intersectionality of like the issues that we talked about. It felt like everything was like super important and just good to know about like the world. And I also liked the framing of the actual course. I feel like we did a lot of projects that were like, group projects. We also had like our own personal writing assignments and like discussion post type things. And then, of course, there were like lecture and presentation based stuff. But I feel like even though it was virtual, it was really engaging. And so I appreciated just the kind of the way it was set up.
Oh, great. I'm so glad to hear that. Um, I understand that you also made some friends in the course that you've kept in touch with since then.
Yes, this is another thing I was a little bit worried about through virtual learning, especially after the whole process of going online for COVID.
Mhm.
But I was actually able to make a lot of friends through the course, even though it was online. I think a lot of this is because we do some group projects. So, we were making group chats and texting and getting each other's socials. And I actually just met up with one of the friends I made from the course in person for the
Oh,
first
wow.
time a couple weeks ago, which was really nice. And it's also great just to talk to people as, like, a lot of us are considering like our futures and our interests, and it's a really nice opportunity to connect with other students.
Oh, so great to hear. So how have you continued your interest in human rights since taking the course?
Yeah. Um, well, I started participating in my school's Global Humanism Club,
Hmm.
which is somewhat similar to a Model UN club, but more community service based. And we actually just went to the Eunice UN conference, which I'm wearing the sweatshirt from, in New York City this past month or 2 months ago. And that was held in the UN General Assembly Hall. There were students from like all around the world there, and there was an issue topic of gender inequity. And Professor Brundige actually came to our classroom to give a presentation along with some of her law students about gender inequity prior to the conference, so that we have some kind of like background knowledge, which was really amazing, and definitely heightened the experience for us. Um, but I've also just started considering that kind of like human rights and like law kind of topic as like a future um, like major potentially, or just something to like look into in college as well.
Oh, great. And yeah, of course, we ended up working together this spring, and you became a research assistant for my Gender Justice Clinic. And, I have to say, from my perspective, it's been so wonderful to be able to continue working with you in that way. Your research and writing around the issue of government's responsibility to protect human rights outside of their borders was just incredibly thoughtful and
Thank you.
just so valuable for the human rights work that we are doing in my clinic. And yeah, I think a lot about how grateful I am that we had a chance to work together last summer and also really continue our relationship up till today.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the things we talked about through the course were incredibly relevant, and I was able to use some of that background knowledge throughout this continued relationship. And yeah, it was also an amazing experience for me, especially because this time last year I was like totally unsure of like what things I was interested in and what I wanted to do. And I think taking this course and having this continued relationship has definitely helped me think a lot more about my future.
So what would you tell other high school students about what to expect from international human rights in theory and practice?
Yeah, I think expect that the course is. I mean, I guess from the course title, I wasn't really sure what to expect, like international human rights in theory and practice. But expect that a lot of the things are a lot more practical. It's not like a political ideas course, it's not a philosophy course, which I really appreciated actually. And it just meant that we were discussing a lot of issues that are incredibly like relevant. I also think like you need to keep in mind that some of these issues might be pretty sensitive, and so that's something to think about. But I think discussing kind of like the structures of these governments and like the like law and legislation behind a lot of like programs is definitely super interesting and will help you understand a lot of current issues as they happen and how to address them.
Thank you for that those great insights. What's next for you in your academic career? Where do you picture yourself after graduation?
Yeah, I just committed yesterday actually to Yale for this coming fall, and I'm really thrilled. One thing I do want to point out here about taking any kind of pre-college course at any university is I think a lot of students take them because they're interested in attending those universities in the future. And while I think it's a great thing to do because you can get an understanding of what professors you might be working with, what the course structure is like, and that kind of thing, I do think you can't bank on it as something that will help you become admitted into this college. To just be totally like clear, I was actually waitlisted from Cornell after I applied, but I do think that taking the course helped me understand my interest a lot more, and that helped me in terms of getting admitted to other schools as well as deciding eventually where I'd want to go. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that thoughtful advice. I think that seems right to me. And congratulations on
Thank you.
deciding what your next steps are. I'm so excited for you. I think you're going to have an amazing time. I know you're going to do great, and I hope we'll be able to stay in touch.
Yes, me too. We should definitely continue this. Thank you. Okay.